Hello ladies and gentlemen, turn on the black mirrors through which you will see the detailing process of this powerful, elegant and, in my opinion, one of the most beautiful BMW 550. We will wash and prepare it for polishing and apply a ceramic coating. So I start by cooling down the car with regular cool water, wetting it down and then removing metal dust from the wheels, rear bumper and sides because those areas often collect metal dust. On a white car, the brown specks are very noticeable, so we remove them with a special metal dust solvent. I had Eurocar products in my hands, and you will see everything. Later, I will reveal a secret about the products. Why? Well, I used Eurocar products yesterday, and I will share the story a bit later. I'll reveal the secret of yesterday's production later. Why? I'm using yesterday's production. I'll tell you the story a little later. Now, in front of your eyes, the modeling process is happening where the clay pulls out the embedded contaminants that a regular wash with a sponge or cloth can't do with just one hand. As you can see, I'm massaging the body, feeling the contaminants, and with the other hand, I'm using the clay to remove them. This is a necessary step before polishing. If the car just came from the paint shop, of course it's not needed, but if there are contaminants, I recommend removing them before the polishing process. The next stage is the drying stage. This is a very important moment, I think, especially when I do detailing mobile, as I still need to drive the client's car from point A to point B. So, we want the car to be dry and the engine bay clean. Here, I always have my bonus of cleaning the entire car for the client for free, including the engine bay. So let's start the polishing work. Let's start by masking the areas that we don't want to damage. These can be various. What are those? Rubber parts, corners, or just areas where we want to avoid paste dust. This will make it easier for us. After cleaning all the polishing procedures, let's say here, as you can see, I put some adhesive tape because when you polish the hood, I think they're a little open and paste residue gets through the gap. Then I clean it again. The adhesive tape holds it in place a little and protects that rubber. So that's it. Not a necessary step, but it's quite useful for a lazy person like me. It was a moment in your eyes when I dusted and degreased the hood, and now I'm choosing combinations between my tools and polishing pads, which I take with my rotor. My favorite tools in the polishing process are the 125 B King flat and the 150 pad. But after that, what? I thought that since I'm working with flat surfaces now, I'll put on the 150mm pad and work with the flat surface of the hood. This can be slow, and the pad is often iced, sometimes smaller, the previous larger pad. Later I'll explain why you'll need pad paste and a rag. We bought a spray. Of course I soaked the product. It adds a lot to the mating paste. I cleaned the wing, but I definitely won't start with the wing. But I cleaned it and looked at it. Anyway, I'll check out its condition. I'm starting to scan and observe, trying to get familiar with the paint and the surface I'll be working on. I wiped down the fender so that now, as you can see, I'm polishing the hood, and to reach it I need to touch the fender. If there are any dust or small stones on the fender, I could scratch the hood additionally. Of course, it might sound funny, but these little things add up in detailing. And I would like to remind everyone that you can purchase all the products, especially these pads and machines, at detailandpolish.com. With the discount code MOBILEHANDS, this discount code is valid not only online but also in physical stores when you mention it at the checkout. You'll get an additional discount, and this way you'll support me and my video creation. Thank you to everyone who uses my discount code. Much respect and gratitude. So, the work goes from top to bottom in a certain sense, but really, when it comes to detailing, it's from bottom to top. Now, for example, I took the door, but I'm starting from the bottom and working my way up. I do this because it's easier for me to work this way when I have a full load. Energy, motivation, body. I'm not so tired and I can still bend and I'm being motivated to work on more complex areas. But another thing is that when I polish from bottom to top, the dust falls down due to gravity, so the upper areas stay cleaner. It doesn't settle as much as when you polish from top to bottom. The areas are cleaner. Don't let the dust settle from top to bottom. I don't have time to comment on everything so quickly, maybe it got a little long, but I sped up the whole video anyway, because in fact, when I added the main frames I wanted from the filming process, it turned out to be an hour-long video. So I cut and sped it up, and now it's only 15 minutes long. I picked this up now, created a one-step polishing pad for the evening, and I put a little more on the edges. And so I start polishing the tiles. They're certainly not damaged or tired, but there's no need to polish them because they're still visible. The tunnel-shaped shoulder washers are slightly scratched. They fade easily. Light polishing will immediately bring it back to life. I put on a 125 or a 125 pad, but not yesterday, and the pads have such a good taper on the sides. This is when the polishing pad widens, and you can get good access with it. Bumper, kuttelamsa, foot, all sorts of more difficult places, that's for sure. It makes the work easier, especially with the rotary tool. Here in front of you, the handle was very scratched because you probably touched the watch with the rings a lot. I don't know. Maybe the rings. So I even took some wool, put some wool on it, and with the wool, I got the deeper scratches out of the handle. So as you can see, the rotary tool is a very versatile tool. We can even work on such curved areas right at the edge, but be careful when working on the very edge. Please support the video if you can. I would really appreciate it if you could support my work while watching me. There's a lot of work involved in filming, editing, and sharing my knowledge with you for free, so at least for that time, it would mean a lot. So this is how it looked before. And here, after using the rotary tool, the scratches are gone, but you can still see some holograms left. We'll remove those in the next stage, which we'll get to. And I found it deeper into the carriage, so the spotlight gave it away, and I went back to it, and it was over. He checked his entire hand to make sure it wasn't too hot on the surface. My application of polishing paste is like this. Sometimes I use dots, sometimes lines, but more often it's lines. Later, I'll make a separate video on how I apply that paste and why I do it, and I often apply it on the edge. For example, here I'm demonstrating how to go around the lamp. Why is that area raised? The lamp is deeper, posing a risk when polishing with a dry pad's edge. It's safer to use another method or paste. With high-speed rotary tools, paste can splatter. I applied it here to avoid splattering into the lamp's gap. If we accidentally damage the edge while polishing, we might not see it right away, but a defect could occur. It's not like we would immediately notice it, like with some sanding paper. No, the eye won't see it, but a defect can happen there. So it's better to use a different polishing pad or a polishing paste, but when I work on the rotor and at high speeds, and I often work on plastic at high speeds, the paste splashes a little. And I stuck it in this case because I don't want to get the paste in that gap between the lamp and the quarter, you understand. So I apply it better this way. And I work as usual. I'm polishing the lamp. Then I just peel it off, and that's it. So I usually work with the rotary tool, and I say that mainly because it quickly and efficiently reaches all sorts of corners and edges. And later I just take and remove those holograms with, I'm putting on a different BMW 75 pad for the eccentric machine. And it's accessible to the harder corner. Rear bumper. Other parts of the car are again picked up by the wool. Here, the sides were really new. At least I actually used a spotlight when I was looking. So, I actually used about 5 polishing pads for this car, constantly changing the combinations. And that's influenced by that look at the varnish. You know, you take one stage and one paste, and you drive it with your eyes closed like a mole, not by scale. But when you work with a spotlight and look at the varnish, you see that some areas need more attention, while others need less, and that way you can preserve both the quality of the paint, and the result. You achieve what you need in different ways. Let's say the sides of the front bumper were scratched very badly with brushes. It wasn't repainted because of the pebbles, so I didn't need to use wool on the front bumper at all. I just used wool on the sides and lightly sponged the quarters with the sponge. And we move on to the second stage. Using the eccentric machine with the Eva Caro burgundy pad. And now, returning to the topic of why I use Eva Caro. It's because I have this philosophy that Eva Caro is a Lithuanian brand. It's a registered Lithuanian company. Paying taxes? These are our garden beetles. And we have to support each other by supporting each other. We also support our country. This is my philosophy, which is why I chose to collaborate more often with Eva Cars, whose production is excellent. Just as good as Shizar, but still, there's the German market. Why should I be making profits for the Germans? I don't get it. Well, of course, whoever resells that German visor here in Lithuania gets it too. Maybe they pay, but it's not evening for them. Still, the mother company is here. Rooted in Lithuania? That money paid for taxes stays here, so I chose to communicate more often with my garden beetles. In short. Therefore, it is evening, I am neither bribed nor only advertising them and the like. I am not biased. I use everything. I often use different soles. You can see for yourself, but I just got a bit carried away here, getting back to the work. Here, you can see there's this rubber piece that is between the body and the part you want to polish. It's in a tricky spot, so it's not easy to cover it up. I don't just stick it on. On one side, it's better to tape it on both sides, so I just cover it and fold the tape over from both sides. And now I have the part ready, which is created by a small rotary machine with a worker. The POX 80 Flex machine is an amazing tool. Now in my hands I have the E150 rotary, which is model 180 18C. Car models. There, for example, Rupert is simpler. There. Bigfoot Mark II, you know everything there. Everything is clear. With Flex models, you can't Google it. It's too much to remember or share from memory. So, as you saw, I did the polishing for the grills. For hard-to-reach places, including the rims, but I didn't film the windows, and now we've moved on to the ceramic was coating process. There they use it again, according to the manufacturer's declaration. It has a 12-month durability for the ceramic. It provides excellent hydrophore. The car slides really well. It's muddy, it's slippery. And it gives a good shine, very easy to apply. No need to rush, don't bother, God forbid you get big ones. And forget to wipe off the excess. It's really easy to work with, but I still recommend working with 2 cloths. It's like a bulldozer attack to organize the excess. Do you want to use one side or not? Now there is a cloth that is all the biggest excess, that grease, and with the other cloth for polishing. For polishing, mama. And we will definitely make sure to wipe off the excess of the ceramic coating. And also, we're using another ceramic coating for the car's paint, plastic surfaces, and windows. Since the work is coming to an end, I allow myself to do a victory dance. And I'm going to wash the pads just with plain water. With a brush and a drill like this between my palms and splashing around like this, and that's it. 6 pads were used. Well, here's another satisfied customer, and a beautiful car will be rolling through the streets of Vilnius, And for those of you thinking about starting a detailing business but don't know where to begin, how to reach out, or how to organize things, you can come to me for live training for both interior and exterior detailing work, or try out my online courses, which consist of PVC material, an ebook and video, some of which you won't see anywhere else, will be a combination of video and TV book. By going through it, you'll learn the craft of detailing. Thank you for watching, and see you at the next meetings.